me check your YouTube. Hmm, cool. Okay, seems like we are now live on YouTube. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to our first exclusive live session of 2026. Today, with one of the most unique products we have brought in the recent history of Rocket Hub. And so let's welcome Yiming Han from Kolkao, who has created a product to let you operate your business stress free and let AI handle your sales calls and all of the stuff. So, Yiming, thank you so much for doing this. Welcome to Rocket Hub's session. And yeah, glad to have you here.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So you make a pretty good product, pretty good branding, as we saw from people. They were pretty much excited about the brand. So first, let us know, why did you build something like Colcow? What prompted you to do this? And where do you come from? What startups you started? And yeah, basically your history.
Yeah, of course. Just some background about myself. I guess before I was doing startups, I was a tech lead at Snap, and then after that, I started a startup called NavaReach. NavaReach was a AI tool for sales teams that was acquired by Landbase earlier last year, because we're in 2026 now. And then throughout my journey at NavaReach and Landbase, I worked with different sales teams, and I was exposed to a lot of interesting problems with the sales teams. And one of the problems that we have faced is uh, automating some of the outreach that we do, as well as the communications between our clients. And that led me to look into voice AI and this kind of state of voice AI that we have as of now. And really, I wasn't happy with all the kind of the tools that's out there in the market, both in terms of kind of the pricing as well as the simplicity and flexibility of the tools. So that kind of led me to create Calcal, which is kind of a simple take on how we should be doing voice AI. But while keeping it simple, we also provide a lot more flexibility if the user does want to get kind of fancy with it and create custom workflows.
Got it. So yeah, that's a good thing, because if you see these days, AI is freaking everything, right? So this thing was one thing which AI is useful for, and we have seen like businesses, they use receptionists, and they still use a lot of receptionists. So basically, it's just an automatic 24/7 reception for all these businesses, so they can focus more on what matters the most for them, and even save costs for hiring people to like take calls on their behalf, right? So I think, and thank you, and that's a good intro. And Leverage is one of the products which we at Rocket were going to launch, but that's another story. But yeah, thank you so much for giving an intro and background about yourself and how you started all of this. So let's begin. Please do show us Colcow, the kind of backend demo and how it all works, and who can use it for now and what's coming next. So let's go into the meat of it.
Yeah, thanks so much. Why don't we? And I'm gonna switch gears into our actual demo with Calcal. And just before we kind of get started, I want to preface it by saying that a lot of our early customers are the ones that kind of are experimenting with voice AI with their small businesses. So, for example, one of our clients, he has a kind of a Google directory listing, and he's just experimenting with some kind of paid ads. And then he set up a phone number with Calcal so that people can call in, and then he can take leads. And those are another one of our clients. They have a form on their website which people can
Hmm.
enter. And what happens, and this is what happens in the Calcal landing page demo as well, where if you have a lead, you can call them directly and then get some information and qualify the leads.
Yeah,
Cool. Without kind of further ado, let's kind of dive into the platform.
let's do this.
And this is kind of our internal organization. that we use to manage some of our clients as well as just for ourselves. And you will see here that there's quite a bit of kind of costs as well as just different workflows that we have for demo. Um, so I would like to kind of start
Mhm.
with
Sure.
voices. So voices is a basic feature that many people were asking about since the launch, and
Mhm.
I want to briefly explain how it works. So it's really simple. Basically, let's just do demo voice, and then how it works is that you just start recording, or you can if you have a voice sample you like, you can upload a voice audio file. But basically, if I click start, and then I I can talk about anything. It just needs a non enough and audio sample. I can say thank you for calling Coco. This is a sample message used for voice cloning. Please speak clearly and naturally as you read this entire paragraph aloud. This is probably enough to um, do the sample. And
Got it.
once we have the voice, you could just play it. And then I'm not sure if you can hear it on the recording, but it's just as
Yep.
simple as this. And
Just
then
repeat the voice.
I'll show you kind of how you can configure your own voice later. But for starters, we have default voices that you can just get used right away.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
Great. So one of the big part is voice. Another I'd like to kind of talk about the integrations that we have currently, and
Mm-hmm.
we are in the process of adding more integrations. We just in fact launched two new integrations this week. We launched the Monday CRM integration as well as the call transfer. So
Okay.
normally with CowCow, what you want to do is you want to set up integration with a calendar provider so that the users are calling them and they can book a meeting directly on your calendar. So the ones we have right now is Calendar.com and Calendarly. Both of them are very easy to set up. For example, for Calendar.com, you just need the API key, and then the API key, if we look into kind of how to get this, we have a full documentation page. You just go to Cal.com app, you go to the settings, you export the API key, and then you can get the API
Mm.
key there. And
Got it.
similarly
Okay.
for Calendarly, we have documentations on exactly how to get the API key. It's really easy to set up. It only takes about a minute. And then once you set up, what happens is that we have for example, this is kind of our demo ones. We have Qualcomm integration here. This integration you can plug in directly into your workflows so that when you are trying to book a meeting, um, the AI will pull in your calendar availabilities and it will suggest times. And then once you confirm that, it will actually book the meeting. I'm sure a lot of people have already tried this feature on our landing page and have seen
Mm-hmm.
saw it in action. Um, and I want to talk about kind of another briefly talk about some of the other integrations we have right now. So follow up text, this is basically a feature where you can text the person if the person doesn't pick up. So, for example, if the person doesn't pick up, you can say, "Hey, missed you. Please call at some number or visit
Mm-hmm.
our page for to book a meeting," something like this. So it just gives you the opportunity to follow up, which you need both in um, both with the call as well as with an as a message. And this is only useful for outbound. For inbound, when they're calling directly into your number, this is not super useful. And then for summaries as well, what happens here is that let's just do a demo. And then just send myself a sample email. So what happens here is that after every call, you will have a sample email for spam. see. Yeah, here we go. It's just taking some time. So basically, after every call, you can either
Mhm.
choose to get a text message notification or email notification. This is helpful
Okay.
for whenever you want kind of notifications to
Okay.
just see like how many people is calling you currently. And then of course we have kind of CRM integrations that we have a few more planned in the pipeline. And then we
Mhm.
have call transfer, which just basically transfers your caller to a number that you pick when they ask to talk to a human. A lot of times, what happens with these AI callers is that uh, the the
They're
caller
not
will
able to
ask to be
answer the
transferred to a
questions. Yeah.
human, and then
Mhm.
this helps just fill that gap.
Okay.
Cool. And then now that we have go over all the integrations, I think it's a good time to kind of look into how exactly you want to create a workflow
So,
and
so
start using
I
it.
had a question over here
Oh
about
yes.
about when so for the call transfer, right? So let's say if someone so how do they transfer the call when there's a call going AI is speaking on their behalf? So do they just press a button or do they tell something? Okay,
So they will
transfer
say,
it now.
"Hey, can I speak to your owner or can I speak to a human?" And the AI will pick up on that, and then the AI
Mhm.
will actually transfer the call to the number you have chosen, and will actually start another dial.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you. Makes sense.
Cool. And then for workflows, we have a few templates, and we found usually that scheduled meetings or connect information are the ones that people mostly use. If we go into
If they
scheduled
don't
meetings,
find their use case over here. Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, if you have more use cases that you'd like us to build templates for, we have a feedback tab right here, and then you can submit your use case, and we're happy to kind of build it out for you. For scheduled meetings, of course, you need a calendar integration. You need kind of a, let's just pick some uh, landing page demo, and then you can select a voice, and then you can select if you want to have call transfer or not. So once you have created the workflow, um, you can start testing out already in your browser or with your phone. And then for those people who wants to automate with the API, you can also trigger the workflow with your API. So this usually happens when you have a excuse me. This usually happens when you
Mhm.
have a form on your landing page that connects,
Mhm.
for example, name, email, phone number, and then you can follow the API docs to trigger the call with the API. But I think for most parts, the use case is going to be inbound, which means that you want to set up a number and then you want the calls directed to that number to go to AI. Does it
Okay.
have? We'll take the questions later once we have
Sure.
kind of so to do this, it's really simple. You just assign a phone number to the workflow. Now I have imported two phone numbers. They all have I have a inbound voicemail for my own voicemail, as well as I have a dental clinic receptionist. So to set up inbound calls with your workflow, you just have to assign that number. And then another key point is that most of the providers will actually allow you to forward your voicemail to a specific phone number. For example, I have my personal cell phone here, but
Mhm.
if any of the calls that goes into my personal cell phone I missed, normally it would
Mhm.
go to a voicemail. But most of the
Mhm.
providers have cell phone carriers have this ability for you to forward that to a different number, and then that's really useful for kind of AI to take over. Imagine you run kind of a local business, and you have a phone number, it's working well, you pick up and you answer questions. But if you're busy, you miss a client. Usually the client is lost. They never call back and they don't even bother to leave a voicemail. But a good use case here is that it will actually, if you miss any voicemail, it will forward to AI. AI will collect information for you. It will send you an email about the information. You can call them back, or you can book a meeting directly.
Makes sense.
So, um, this is kind of our take on the simple workflow builder. Is that we have
Mhm.
kind of predefined templates, and then predefined templates have kind of like very simple kind of configurations.
And got it. So let's say if someone has to customize this a lot, right? Let's say can they like set up future? Let's
Yeah.
say they want to integrate this workflow, and I think I saw that we have
So
yeah, we connect
once
to a
you kind
custom
of
workflow.
get comfortable with it, you want to add some custom rules, you can convert this to a custom workflow.
Hmm,
And of course, every workflow is actually just a custom workflow in the back end. It's just we don't expose it for the users in the beginning, just so because it can be a little bit overwhelming. But how
got it.
this basically works is it's basically a state machine. So let's look at this schedule meeting workflow example. It has an
Hmm,
introduction, it has instructions for the state, and then after each state, it has different instructions. For example, once you have the introduction, it says that I'm calling to express interest in consultation. It's a good time for a 2-minute chat. And then if the user says they don't remember, then it has explanations of what the thing actually does. And then if the user is not interested, then it will prompt a email follow up, uh, just like thank you for understanding. Can we receive the email instead? So while we're doing it this way, instead of one giant paragraph of prompt or text box of prompt, is that from our testing, we find that once your workflow gets a little bit more messy, it tends to kind of hallucinate a lot. So this is a really, really good way to uh,
hmm.
kind of ground the AI into in its logic. So each of the states has their own small prompt, and then you can go to a different state. So it's almost like how you would build a actual human call script. Is that you
Correct.
start with your opener, you have different scenarios. Different scenarios, you
Right.
have different
If and else conditions. Yeah.
yes, and then of course you have kind of the context and the agent tasks, and then you can add extra instructions here as well. And then you can also change your voice, and you can set up call transfers as well.
Makes sense.
Cool.
Perfect.
And then one last thing about these workflows is that, for example, uh, once we have kind of the uncall state, we can also add different integrations into different steps. For example, here I have an integration text summary. So what this does is that after a call, it will text me the summary of the call. I can quickly show you maybe that what that looks like.
Sure.
Um, so for example, here I have this is sent that set to my landing page, and then it
Okay.
just sets a cost, and then it has set up text to me in
Got
if
it.
there's a meeting booked, and then I can notify, I can see if
Hmm.
the meeting is booked or not. Um,
Got it. And from here itself, if they want to connect, let's say this want to send a calendar link, and everything can be done from over here, right? If they want to
yeah.
book a
So
meeting.
for example, here, if you look at the book meeting step, it has kind of your calendar integrations right here. So it
Got it.
knows what integrations to use. And then,
Makes
for
sense.
example, if the user's not interested, then it's not going to try to book a calendar.
Got it.
We only expose tools based on kind of the state that the workflow is in.
Hmm.
And then the last piece I think we should cover briefly is how phone numbers work.
Hmm.
So for phone numbers, a lot of people ask about like Europe or India or different like regions. So there's two ways to add phone numbers. You can buy numbers from Calcal. This is only for US and Canadian numbers, and then you can add your own Twilio account. So um, both of these numbers I have added from my own personal Twilio account. Um,
Uh, got it.
the reason why you need to add your own Twilio account is, let's say, different countries have different compliances, and right now our company is registered in the North America region. So it's harder for us to get compliances to say India or Europe. As you know, Europe has a lot of compliances for outbound calling
Data
as well.
loss. Yep.
So we are still working through those. Of course, it's in the works, but it's gonna take some time. So if you want to have your numbers, your Indian number or your European number, you can connect your own Twilio account, and if you have those compliances, and then
So, so basic question for people, or basic answer to those who are asking about, okay, there are North American numbers, which is US and Canada. So if you are in India and you want to use Koikao, so you just need they just need to integrate their Twilio number, which they bought from Twilio, and use the API key connection, and that way they will be able to use Koikao with the Indian numbers.
yes, exactly. So you could, if you can register for the number on Twilio, you could use that number for Calcal.
Got it. And
Um,
it's global. So even if it's an EU number, but it's through Twilio, so everything will work in Koika. But
yes,
if they
yes.
have to if they have to buy a number from Koika, it's only you would be only able to provide a plus one number, correct?
Yes, yes, because we have
Okay,
to kind of manage the compliance of only that number. And then if
got it,
the spam calling and
got it.
stuff like that, we have to be on the hook.
Okay, okay, perfect. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's take some questions if you, and then we can continue so we can have those done. We have a question from Sataj. How friendly is it for India-based workflows? What
So
do you think?
for Indian-based workflows,
There's a lot of
basically,
demand, by the way. Like you got a lot of people. Oh, it's work for India.
uh-huh. Um, we are adding Indian language soon. So for right now, the AI is in English, but we're
Hmm,
adding multi language support. And once multi language support is kind of integrated, Indian based workflows should be only a matter of having your Indian number. Once you have like Indian number connected through Trudio or something like that, then basically
got it.
you can use it for Indian workflows.
Okay,
One
makes
thing
sense.
I want
Hmm.
to let me see if I still have the
Sure.
um oh, here we go. Yeah, so I was looking into this earlier too. So for Indian numbers, only inbound looks like it's supported on Twilio.
Hmm.
So outbound calls to India can only be made from international numbers. So it does look like there's some restrictions on outbound. But for inbound numbers, I think it's not that much like compliance issues.
Got it. And if anyone is selling from here, if you're selling in the international market, I would say you're good with even taking US buy a number for a US virtual number, right? And then use it for with your Twilio account. I think that way you would be able to reach more people. And same with EU folks. Get Twilio registered because it's one of the biggest assets if you're in the if you're in a big business and your business depends upon calls. So I think this is a good asset to have and not to ignore this. But yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. And I want to say another common use case that we have
Yep.
is let's say we have a client running meta ads. So meta
Hmm.
ads, they have a meta ads lead form. What it means is that um, this is an old one because we move it to another account. But what happened is, let's say a lead fills in their name and email on a meta lead form. We call them immediately. So we call them immediately and try to book a meeting or try to qualify them. And that's something that's really hard with humans because no one can sit on the online for 24/7 waiting
Yep.
for a new lead to come in and call them. So this is a really cheap way to filter leads and then try to book meetings and try to qualify the leads through Meta ads or Google ads or any type of like we have we have a client that we're kind of setting up right now. They have a form on their website, and anytime the someone fills in a phone number, we call them right away, and then we get
Got it.
qualifications and information.
That's good. So if so, let's say there's a custom form which they have on the website. So that custom form integration can be done with Callcow. Let's say I'm using a HubSpot form, and they add a number and they hit submit. Would that be possible in the future?
Yes, yes. So we have this feature right now via Zapier as well
Got it.
as via API as well. So for Zapier, there's a kind of I won't go
Documents.
through the full documentation, but there's some
Yep.
documentation to
So there's a
kind of
Zapier support. Okay.
do it. Yeah, and then we have API as well. And if you
So
need
that's
any other
webhooks.
tools like make.com or something like that, again, we have kind of a feedback board for the features. If we just kind of request it, we're happy to kind of build it out for you.
Makes sense. Yeah. So one thing which I would say to build out with is Pabbly Connect, which is one of the primary integrator people use apart from Make.com. That's like the darlings of the IoT world, but they are one of the primary ones. So rest of it, yeah, this looks good. So I mean, when you say API, that means webhooks supports, right? Let's say if there's a webhook, and they can just connect that webhook with their forms, so they would be able to then get the whole process done.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Makes sense.
And any type of Zapier or Pabbly, we're just kind of building a wrapper around that API, anyways.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, question from Richard. Does it have a calendar integration? Yes, they have calendar integrations. We have cal.com, Calendly, right? And if you have more any other calendar tool which is not a native integration, you can use Zapier or API to connect your calendar. But most of the world uses Calendly or cal.com, which is free. So yeah, they have this. All right, one more question about supporting Arabic. Um, yeah, what's your take on that?
Yeah, we don't have we're running out multi-language support soon, and then depends on specific languages. We don't have currently plans to support Arabic, but if there's a audience that if there's a demand for it, we're happy to kind of add it as well.
Makes sense. All right, a follow up comment from Sartaj about the Indian thing. He says outbound calls to Indian numbers have strict limits. We can only call Indian numbers from international call IDs. So maybe it's better to buy a US number from Qualcomm. That's what I was saying, Sartaj. You're right that you should buy a number from Twilio or buy a virtual US number and then use it with Qualcomm and get your outbound sorted out. That's the only way till because there are regulations with the telecom authorities that you cannot bypass, and so there's a restriction. So this is a good way to get it done.
Yeah, and I would say from our experience too, US number is the easiest one to get compliance with. Even Canadians have some more kind of restrictions, and in the EU, it's it's a lot more restrictions. You have to have a lot of registrations. So US, it's the easiest one to set up.
Correct, and then you can use +1 in both countries, right?
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. All right, says one more question and then we'll move forward. Do you support white labeling?
We currently don't, but we're happy to kind of talk and chat and see if there's kind of any needs or demands for white labeling. I mean, we're not opposed to it, but currently we don't have white labeling support.
Makes sense. All right, yeah, thanks for answering the questions. Let's go forward.
Great. So I think maybe um, let's briefly talk about um, kind of what we have kind of planned in the short term future, as well as kind of how credits work, and then we can close out kind of this. Um,
Sure.
so right now we are seeing a lot more kind of demand for just general CRM integration, as well as just integration with
Mhm.
different kind of records. So we're working on a beta feature called Contacts, which basically keep tracks of everybody that called you, and then we're gonna have a sync layer between your contacts to your CRM, so that you can sync up your CRM records so that you know who called you and you can follow up, and you can have all the information of the call contacts and stuff like that. And then secondly, we are kind of ramping up a lot of our integrations. We just shipped Monday integration. We're gonna have more integrations such as HubSpot, obviously, and then Pabbly is a new one that we've just learned about that are kind of very very popular. And then yeah, and last one is where we're also testing out private SMS messages as well. So how SMS works is that it's going to be the same workflow. It's going to be the same kind of state machine, but instead of just having real time voice, we'll also have SMS
Hmm.
conversations exchanged. Um, and already this is just for kind of if someone doesn't pick up or if we call someone you want to try to reach someone and it doesn't pick up a few times, then we will try to send SMS messages as well to kind of try to increase that um, reply rate or engagement rate. Cool. And then lastly, I want to kind of talk about how credits work. This is
Yeah.
a test. This is our internal org. So the credits you're seeing like minus, but for credits, we have credits uh, for I think we have 30,000 minutes or something like that for one of the
Yeah.
tiers.
So we yeah,
But
top tier is 3,000. The basic one is 200 minutes, and middle one is 900 minutes.
yeah, and there was a question about does do we count? So we count those
Mm.
times by the second. So if you have a call and then the person hands up after 20 seconds, we only charge you 20 seconds. We do not round up to the 1 minute mark. And um, another kind of question was that like
Mm.
is it sustainable? Like how what are our costs because we are running kind of this lifetime deal. And one of the things I think that makes us unique as well is that we self-host everything. We self-host our WebSocket infrastructure as well. The only thing third-party things we rely on is the voice models as well as our LM models, and even the LM models right now we are using open source models as well. So in the future, if the cost goes up, we could look to self-host this LM models as well. So yeah,
Okay, perfect.
and then just the like lastly for roadmaps, we have kind of a feedback board. I personally have a bunch of kind of the integrations and stuff here. Zendesk too, of course, that's a big one that we're planning as well. And then if you like another feature that kind of you want to see on the roadmap, feel free to kind of submit any kind of requests, and then we're happy to kind of look at it and then roll it out as well.
Got it. People had one a few DMs I received with questions was about the depth of the analytics. About reporting and analytics. Let's say if they want a weekly summary of calls or see how their calls are performed. So can you show us a sample analytics area which shows
Yeah.
like
So
what's
um,
yeah.
for briefly, you have kind of different calls that are here. You can see the recent calls, and you can look at the call details as well. And then you will have maybe this one is not a good one because it failed. Um, if you look at this one, there's analytics about kind of latency analysis. Let me find a good one.
Sure.
Mhm. Um, this one. Uh, Sorry, give me a second. This is a internal account, so might not have a super good one. But anyways, we have kind of analytics for each call. We have all the transcripts, we have all the call summary, and then we have latency analysis as well for the calls. Um, and then if there's any kind of uh, new analytics, we're happy to kind of add it as well. But you can see kind of the status of all the calls, and then most importantly is that after each call we send you an email, so you have kind of the information and
Got it. Makes sense. And I I had a very like I don't know, someone posted about a very unique use case was about connecting this with Google My Business, like where they can track calls and everything. So let's say if someone calls from Google My Business and then they call to a specific number, and then that integration happens. Because I've seen a lot of people use international numbers for Google My Business, and so if they integrate this with Callcow, would they be able to see deeper analytics inside Callcow, or they would have to like go and see them in Google My Business areas?
What kind of analytics are we talking about
Like
here?
for example, of course here you can see, I don't know what they mentioned, but there were like information on the duration, if the duration can be seen over here, or you know yeah, they didn't go in depth, but they mentioned about like or integration with Google My Business, because they use it for calls, so for inbound calls mostly. So
I see.
can
Yeah,
can they
I'm
connect
happy to
with
kind
one
of
another?
look into it and then see. We do have some analytics that we shipped before, but
Makes
we have the feedback that it wasn't too useful, so we kind of we had to get
got
rid
it,
of it. But
got it,
if there's any kind of analytics that you'd like to see, we're happy to kind of look into it again.
got it. One more was about the branches. Let's say if there's a business and they have 10 different branches, so how will it work for them? Do they have to buy different numbers, or how would they
So you could
optimize?
have one number, um,
Yeah,
but of course, if you want to track different calls to different branches, you would probably need different numbers as well. But I would recommend starting out just have one number, have the calls going to that number, and then you could see kind of how many calls you're going. If you're getting a lot of calls and you want to track different calls for different branches, you could have different numbers.
got it.
Oh,
And
there's
there's a
a
new question. Yeah, question from Chris about the cost for additional credits.
Yeah, so the cost, so if you run over, we charge 5 cents per minute for additional calls, and then of course, I think with your lifetime plan, you have a pretty generous amount of quota. So I guess if you're going over,
Yeah.
it means that you're really doing pretty well with like your volume. So
Mhm.
5 cents per minute is additional cost.
Yeah. So if you run over, please, if you don't find a way to upgrade, or you're confused, please reach out to Yiming for more details on upgrades, and I think he would guide you very well if you want more than what you have right now.
Yeah.
All right. We're looking for more questions about. There were questions from the EU folks and Americans about the compliances, right? Because, for example, they have to have the HIPAA compliance when it comes to healthcare, and the EU for GDPR. So they wanted to ask about the timeline. Let's say when can we think the compliances can be in place so that they can use it properly without thinking about, okay, the government is after me or something like that.
So I think for GDPR or for just the phone calls, because we're calling through Twilio, if Twilio has a compliance, you can take inbound calls, but it will have to be kind of um, it will have to be non-sensitive information. Like if you want to just like do a receptionist call, that's not a problem. Um, for GDPR as well, I think that's one of the things about EU is that we cannot make outbound calls very easily, but for inbound calls as well, I think there's not that much of an issue. But yeah, we're actively working towards those compliances, but it's gonna be a few more months, I think, before we can get any type of certification.
Got it. There was one more recommendation from one of our power users in different lifetime views. He mentioned about adding one more analytics field, which mentions source of the call. So let's say for marketeers, right, who are region experts, if they're handling an account, this way they will be able to see from which source they got the call, right? Like let's say if they got a call from search engine, they got a call from It's at Meta. They got a call from organic Google SEO. So is that possible right now
Um,
or in the future?
that is a good idea actually. We can add a source field to the calls to track it. I'll put that in the roadmap.
Okay, makes sense. All right. So just one more second. Let's see if someone else has anything. If not, then we would move forward and wrap this up. Okay. Yep. I think I answered most of the questions. Uh,
Oh, yeah. Well, this has been
cool.
super fun to share kind of the product
Yep.
and kind of answer all these questions. And if there's any more questions, feel free to reach out to me, even at
Cool.
calcal.ai. And we also have a schedule form. So feel
Mhm.
free to schedule just a time with me if you have kind of more in-depth questions. This is my calendar, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Some people ask about SMS as well. So SMS, what do you think about SMS of for call cow?
Yeah, we're actively testing SMS as a conversation. So using the
Okay.
same flows, but use SMS as a conversation. And that's still what we're testing it with a few kind of our internal partners as well. Um, it's not quite ready yet. There's still some stuff we had to figure out, but it should be coming up soon.
Cool. All right, that's good. Yeah, that should do. If there's anyone who is attending right now and you have more questions, put it in the comments. We are here to answer those questions so you free and get your deal from Rocket Hub. Call is active, and if you want to once you're done with the deal and you would want help with your setup, book a call with Yiming for the same. He's in Canada, so be sure of the time you're booking, and he'll help you out in any manner. All right, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Yiming, for this, for coming here today, talking about your journey, talking about the product, why you built it, and we look forward to future updates and for more success.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's fun.
Thank you so much. This was fun. Thank you so much, guys, who attended. We'll see you next time, and till then, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys. Bye.